Good morning. Good morning. It is 2:40 a.m. I'm on my way to the gym. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk about how everyone has problems. Let's talk about how everyone has fears. And then let's talk about God. There's a situation going on with Antonio Brown. He's a wide receiver in the National Football League. Antonio Brown, and I don't know the full details, but I've been living long enough where you can summarize the situation without having to watch every single part of it. Athlete wants more money. Athlete feels entitled. Court of public opinion is athlete is spoiled. That's it. So Antonio Brown's scenario may not be near to my scenario. But in his mind, in his world, it's very much one of his problems. See, I'm talking about the difference between somebody saying, I don't have enough money to pay my light bill, and how am I going to bridge the gap between the 15 to 25 million that I want to be paid to play a game. I can't minimize it. I can't minimize it. Because it's his problem. So just to go to show you, we all have problems. We all have issues. How do you have a problem and you have 15 to 25 million? It's perspective. That's something you would have to ask him. How do you have a problem? Well, here's how I have a problem. I have a $2 million home. I have a $175,000 car times 3. I have a champagne bill of $75,000 every week. I can't keep up that way of living if I don't make the money that I need. That's a legitimate problem. On a bigger scale, that is a legitimate problem. Had he never made that money in the first place, he wouldn't have that kind of problem. That's perspective. It's perspective. But then he would have the exact same problem as the person who says, how am I going to come up with the money to pay my rent? Same problem. Different scale. How am I going to do it? Same problem. Different scale. And then now let's fast forward. And I only simply gave that scenarios because there's people who really are in that I can't pay my rent situation who feel like they're the only ones that have problems. Because for Antonio Brown, that's a real problem. Especially if he identifies with who he is, with what he can buy. It's a real problem. Who am I to say that's not a real problem? It is. It's a real problem to you. Everyone has problems. Some of the most successful individuals commit suicide. They had a problem. Because even though I haven't reached levels nearly as high as some of the individuals that I can think of who've decided to take their own life, there's nothing inside of me that says life is so bad that I want to end it now. Again, it's perspective. Not to say it was the money, not to say it wasn't the money. Because poor people do the same thing too. But what I'm trying to get you to see is, you don't always have to think that there's such a great big divide between your problems and somebody else's problems, or you're the only one that has problems. Everybody's got problems. I remember I had just came home, and what was it? I had got into a car accident, and I think they had given me a rental car or something along those lines. But I remember I had to take the rental car back. And really the only reason I wanted the rental car is because there was gas in it. Like, there was gas in the car. And then I remember when I had to take it back. Because you remember those days when you used to have to scrimp together, 4 quarters, 3 dimes, 2 nickels, pennies. You knew that one tank would get you, somewhere. And then wherever it got you, you'd beg, borrowed the rest to put some more gas in there. Well, I remember because I remember exactly where it was an Enterprise rental car place, and it was on like 75th Avenue. I want to say 75th Avenue and Thunderbird, because I pass by that place regularly. Now it's like some AARP place or AAA. And I remember I had to take the car back early in the morning. And you know how they say you have to, put the same amount of gas back in there that was in there when you got it. And I remember not having the money to be able to do that. I mean, I didn't have the money anywhere. I didn't have some debts I can call in. I didn't have a phone a friend. I couldn't put it back in there. And I remember there was I think there was a grocery store or something around the corner. And I remember just sitting there trying to figure out. I don't remember how I did it. I don't even remember what happened. But I remember sitting there thinking, how the hell am I in this situation? How come I don't have the money to put back in this car? And at the moment, that problem seemed like the biggest thing in the world until something else. There's always something else. There's always something else. And then the older I got, the wiser I'm getting. haven't completely got. I'm getting. The more I'm realizing is that you get to see the glory of who God is through the process of seeing that the problem you thought that was unsurmountable is very much just a very distant memory. Because yeah, I remember the feeling because the feeling fuels me. But I don't remember the outcome because clearly I got through it. I don't know. I drove the car back up there, left it, told him I had to get. I don't know what I did. Because somebody right now needs to understand or needs to hear that if you just give it over to God, you'll get past this. Antonio Brown got past his I don't have enough money to put gas in my car problem. And he's graduated to how am I going to maintain this lifestyle payment. Everybody graduates. I think what makes it so hard is that we never stop to really take time to say, hey, I remember it was just last month I was in the same situation, but I made it. Like, that's so important for people to understand. That's so important for people to get. I made it. Like, I get choked up when I get to thinking about when I would I'd sat in that jail cell, and I was just like, dude, it just felt like, if you've never sat in a jail cell, I mean, there's no worse feeling than to know you can't get up out of there. There's not a bigger defeating feeling than to know that you've positioned yourself to let somebody else have the keys to your freedom. And you have to just kind of wait and see what they're going to do. How are they going to handle this? How is this going to work out? Facts. But it did. The crazy, insane, like even right now, me and my wife, we're in a weird, how can I frame this? Okay, here's how I can frame it. Anytime you're growing, you're gonna feel some pain. And anytime you stay still, you're gonna feel some pain. We happen to be going through a growing phase. And there's a lot of things that God is saying, I took care of it then, I can take care of it now. And because of my past and because of the things that I've been through, I have the strength to go through these growing periods and just know that pain is a part of it. I don't know if that makes sense. So I'm going to end it at this. Everybody has problems. Everybody has growing pains. But if you really start to pay attention, you'll start to see that those things are intended to help you. They're very rare, very, very rare are they intended to hurt you.